me because you look so fine that I really want to make you mine. I say you look so fine that I really want to make you mine. 4, 5, 6, come on and get your kicks. Now you don't need the money when you look.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Opinion City podcast. And no, do not adjust your screens. Don't adjust your ear holes. Ralph is not here this week. He is off doing his kingly duties. But in his place, I have, you may have seen him on our Power Pro Lucha pre-shows and post-shows, on our countdown to Power Pro Lucha. You've seen him on the socials. You've seen him on the YouTubes. He is someone that you might love to hate, hate to love, whatever you want to call him. It is Vonnie from I Hate Vonnie. Vonnie, what's going on, man? How are you?
Hello, all y'all beautiful indie darlings out there. I'm letting y'all know Ralph has been taken hostage, and if you want to see him again, I want $100 million.
That is not true. That has not been said. That is not that's false. Falsity.
That's not true.
False.
He's still being a family man.
But we have our most requested guest of the podcast finally here with us. He is the man, the brand, king of the lemonade stand, the zest of the best, Manny Lemons on the show. We are here. We are excited. And Vonnie, pray tell the world what is his top 5 or top 5s that we're going to learn for later on.
So we're going to be talking about Manny's top 5 Pokemon and or Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Ooh, man. It's going to be interesting.
Yu-Gi-Oh shirt on for this too.
Oh, he came prepared. He came
Yes,
ready.
sir.
He came ready. That's right. So, without further ado, I think it's time to get this party started. Vonnie, what do you think?
My body is ready.
With that, Opinion City episode 113 starts right now. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and we did not come alone, as he is here, man, the brand, king of lemonade stand. Manny Lemons is in the house. Manny, how you doing, man?
Hey guys, how we doing today? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear, sir.
Hey, we got to do it right. We're gonna do it right. Hey, zest for the best. You know the rest. It's your boy, the man, the brand, the king of the lemonade stand, live from Opinion City Land, baby. You know you
That's
gotta bite
right.
the sour and get the power, baby.
Woo!
That boy talking, yes, sir.
The hype.
Ooh.
The hype is real. The hype is real.
That aura,
Now-
brother.
Super excited to have you on. Like I said, it's probably the most requested guest we've had ever on this show. Shout out to you, Johnny Autism Wrestling, who was in the house. He said, let me guess, Manny, last like usual. Even got the father in the house, Father Jason. Zest of the best, and you know the rest. We have family in the building. We're excited. We're here. Whole family's here to witness you on the Opinion City podcast. So, with that, let's kick it off. For those other than them who may not know who you are, who, in your own words, is Manny Lemons?
Man, in my own words. Well, you know, I just went through Mr. Captain catchphrase, but Manny Lemons. As a person, I'm Manny Lemons. I'm out of Salt Lake City, Utah. I've been wrestling for 13 years. I've wrestled with the biggest names in wrestling. I've wrestled for every major wrestling promotion between WWE, AEW, Ring of Honor, TNA,
Woo!
Game Changer. Like I said, I'm based out of Salt Lake City, so right now I'm currently just traveling the circuits out here. You know, still do a lot of work with AEW, still do a lot of work with WWE. So whenever time they come to the West Coast, I'm still, you know, you still might catch me on an episode of Dynamite or episode of Raw or something. But I'm just living the dream, man. Single father of a 15-year-old son. I'm blessed. I'm one blessed human being, you know.
Yeah, man, I hear you. I don't know what happened to Vonnie here, but
Hey, can y'all hear me? I'm still here.
yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, my bro, he was spitting too much. My camera just fainted. Felt like Elvis walked in.
Elvis walked in, said too much, and you got cut off, man. He was like, nah, it's too much heat.
Sometimes, yeah, you guys got to shut me up. I talk too much sometimes. So
No, never.
Keep it
Never.
pushing. Let me get my technical difficulties taken care of.
Yeah, let him take care of that, and I'll be on to the next one. So, other than all the catchphrases and the look, how did you come up with kind of like the look, the style, and how did you sort of mold the character into what it is today?
So the character itself just kind of became I want to say it's really just like who I am now, if that makes sense. But what
Mhm.
started is when I was doing a lot of work with Ring of Honor back in 2016. I was going to like tryout camps,
Right.
and I remember my first tryout camp there. I actually wrestled Jay Lethal when he was world champion, so it was kind of cool to like have that match and like have that
Yeah.
experience. But at the time, my first ever wrestling name was Manny Fresh. So Brutal
Mhm.
Bob Evans and Kevin Kelly, you guys probably know who those guys are.
Yep.
But they didn't remember my name was. They remember my first name was Manny. They remember I wore a bright ash yellow shirt. So they just kept calling me Manny Lemons the entire time. But like my name was Manny Fresh. So after we did the trial, after we got the critiques or whatnot, we ended up just going out to eat or whatever, just hanging out, and he just kind of like looked at me and said, "Why don't you run with it? You look like the Lemonhead guy, the guy on the Lemonhead box."
Right.
He started
Right.
pulling that out. He's like started making these like logos, and he hit up with one guy, Richard, in Rhode Island out there, and he's got us connected, and he started making these logos, and the logo like he made really like resembled me a lot. So I was like, you know what, this is stupid, but I'll try it out. The first time I ever did it was in 2016, and I got a real organic reaction with the audience. So it was something that was
Yeah.
what I was doing before wasn't getting that sort of response. So then I started realizing, oh, see, I don't even know what this is, but once I master this thing's going to become a diamond in the rough. You know what I mean? So I just started just running with it ever since then. But it really came from just the catchphrases or whatnot, man. Just from my experiences in like life, just going through it. Like being in a sense of me, like spinach is Popeye, lemons are the man. You bite the sour, get the power. You know what I mean?
Right. That's a very good analogy. I love that. I love that. So, sort of, which wrestlers would you say was sort of like inspired you when like sort of coming up with your character for wrestling and like just coming up like in the early beginnings?
Yeah, I would say. I mean, obviously, like I was a big like Hulk Hogan guy. Sting was my all-time favorite.
Yeah.
Currently now, I think John Cena is the GOAT, so I have to really like a lot with Cena.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
the captain catchphrase, I guess, kind of more comes from him. The boas come from Hogan, you know what I mean? Kind of like taking bits and pieces of like my favorite and just making it my own. Because like anytime you kind of think of that, you either think Manny or you think Hogan. You know what I'm saying? So
Right. Right.
just really making it your own. But like I'd say those are probably like my top three that I would inherit it, I guess.
Right. So you said that you were a big John Cena fan. Were you a fan of the heel turn?
Yeah, I loved it, dude.
Yeah.
I think the only thing I didn't like, I think we all knew it was kind of coming. So like, the element of surprise would have been a lot better. Like knowing he's gonna retire, that there's a possibility that's gonna come. I'd rather it just been like kind of out of nowhere.
Right.
But
Like
I love his heel work, dude. His heel work's the best thing going in his career right now, in my opinion.
now here's another question. Do you think he'll hold it until he retires, or do you think he's going to lose it beforehand?
I think he's gonna lose it beforehand. I think he's gonna become a triple. He's gonna become a grand slam. I think they're gonna do everything with him, just like label him as the actual GOAT. You know what I mean?
Right.
I
As the
really feel
greatest of
like
all time. Right.
I'm gonna call this down. I have no inside information on this, but if you've seen like Bound for Glories in Massachusetts, I really feel like you're gonna get a John Cena versus Joe Hendry at Bound for Glory.
Man, I would love nothing more than to
'Cause that's not
see John
it's not
Cena
gonna
in a
take away from his
TNA
thing,
ring. Does he John Cena go to TNA to do that? That would be amazing.
Yeah.
To see him switch roles. He
Yeah.
jumps ship to them, has a match on their show as one of his last matches.
Yeah.
Wow. Sign me up. I'd be so down for that.
I can see it
But
happening,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, seriously. All right, so bring us back to the early beginnings. Talk about sort of how you found your way to wrestling.
Yeah. So I was a fan of it, obviously, growing up my entire life. I mean, the biggest memory I always have, and I think I tell on like every single podcast, is 1996. My dad was a big WCW guy, so he has WCW Nitro on the TV. And the one moment in wrestling that really got me hooked was when I just remember, like I said, Sting was my guy, and seeing Sting come out, like that one episode where the Giant got jumped and the NWO comes out, they start laying boots
Right.
or whatever, and then Sting came out to like save him, and like he just had that like, mystique and the walks to the ring and the way he was, and then he just like dropped the bat, and you just hear like Bischoff and Tony Schiavone just going so crazy, like that aura about him just like
Yeah.
attracted me to wrestling. So
Absolutely.
when I seen that moment, that's what really hooked me, man. And there's a lot of times that I'll go back here today and be like, man, I'm a fan because of this moment. Like I have it saved on my favorites and stuff and whatnot, you know. So like I'll always repeat it and like try to put myself back in that moment and feel how I was a fan at that time and try to like use that to my work and my craft today, if that makes sense, you know.
Makes
But
absolute sense. Yeah.
but that's where I've like found wrestling, man. I mean, obviously I've been watching it all the way up till about a big sports guy growing up, played football, played high school basketball, you know, all that stuff. Um, after high school, you know, being a young dad and whatnot, after high school, I got really depressed and I wanted to do something to kind of fill that like competitive void, you know, because I'm a baller, you know, I want to go out and still do it, you know, I want to do the
Right.
dang thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I've ended up finding a pro wrestling school called UCW Zero, which they were I knew about them. They were pretty local to Utah. I want to say they were the Utah company at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I kind of went in there on my first day. It was Cinco de Mayo, 2012. I always remember it, Cinco de
Okay.
Mayo. And they were obviously trying to teach me the basic bumps on the, you know, the bumps we do in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going over the flip bump, and they were trying to like had to like post me or like flip me over or whatnot, but I ended up landing on my head. So like
Oh,
no
no.
difference.
God.
Like,
Oh,
difference.
no.
Yeah. First day ever, man, of wrestling school. I landed on my head, and you know what? I came back ever since, and I haven't quit since then. So
You know, you think that would scare you away,
yeah,
but no.
Man,
Nah,
you're a
man,
better
I'm-
person than me.
it was just so cool. Like, I mean, I think you guys could probably relate, man. Like being a kid and like finally being able to like step in a ring and like see what a ring feels like and like hit
Right.
the ropes and stuff. This is exactly what I've wanted this my entire life. I always would like try to rent wrestling rings and like do stuff at my birthday parties growing up and stuff, but like we never had access to that, you know. So when it became time to become an adult and I had the ability to do it, it was like, man, this is the coolest thing in the world, you know. And I don't know about it, man, but either I'm crazy, but I still love it today. That I have the same passion as I do day one, you know. And
Yeah.
I feel like the best to me is just yet to come, and that's what's the exciting thing about everything in life is it's always constant. We're always moving, you know.
It's like this ain't even your final form, and that's beautiful. And I want to
Yeah, bro. I
walk
always
back.
say
Real,
that.
I want to walk back real quick because you mentioned the whole football aspect and everything, right? Like when I was in, this was years ago, freshman year of high school, I tried out for football and I was on the team for all of 1 week. I took one Oklahoma drill and said, absolutely not. This is not my type of time. I'm an artist.
Yeah.
So for
Yeah.
you to be able to step it back in a ring after that bump on your head, that's a testament to how tough and resilient you are.
Yeah. Bro, I always like it's always that Tom Brady Hall of Fame speech, you know, where he says, I wish everyone could play football because they realize how hard it is, you know. It's hard
Right.
getting up to be committed and dedicated to the grind. That's the same analogy and the same aspect you guys have with pro wrestling because bro, I play to win. So like if I'm gonna do anything, I ain't doing it. I'm not going half fast. We're going all in. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like that's like with
Yeah.
me being a promoter, me being a wrestler, me being a father. Like I'm just like I play to win. You know what? Hey, we take L's, but that's what we learn from is those L's, you know?
That's right.
And that's
That's
just
right.
I carry that from football. You know, football created that in me. You know, showing up and showing out. You know,
Yep.
having a team of brothers and going out there on the field and just really like playing it, man, playing to win. You know, like it's the coolest thing in the world. And I wish more people had the opportunity to do that.
Sure.
Also, gents, thank y'all for being patient with me. My power actually went out.
Oh,
for
no.
2 Americans. It was crazy. Like I was like, oh, why am I here in darkness? And then it came back. I'm like, this was Ralph. Ralph called me.
This is Ralph. Ralph pulled this off.
Well, welcome back, brother.
Appreciate you. Sean, where do we stand next on the docket?
I just asked about his training. So go into your
Got it.
questions there, sir. That's where we're at. Your questions.
So, like a match day for Manny Lemons, right? Let's talk about that. What is your pregame ritual? Like, do you throw the powder up like you're LeBron, or no? Do you throw like the lemon juice up? What walk me through this. Is it like a cold frozen lemonade, something like that? Where are we going?
Take a shot of a lemon drop. I'm just kidding.
Right.
You know, like I tend to like I always go back to what John Cena says: control the controllable. So when it comes to game day, I try not to overstress it, if that makes sense. Like I don't walk in there and like try to think about what I'm going to do because a lot of thing in wrestling, man, is organic. It's real. It's in the moment. So if we're sitting here like trying to like force the moment, then we're just going to interrupt the moment of what it can be, if that makes sense. So therefore, if I'm out there, instead of like with a lot of my wrestling and a lot of my stuff, I like to do it out there on the fly. I like to feel the audience, I like to be organic. So when I'm in the moment, that's when we're game mode. Let's go, you know? So a lot of my matches and stuff, they're literally on the fly. We don't put too much into it because like, I just want to feel it, you know? I want to be in that moment, be in at that time. So when I see a bunch of guys, and no disrespect to anyone else, when I see a bunch of guys try to have their own ritual, like go over the matches, try to do their own thing and whatnot, you know, good on them. for giving it, but like to me, it's just like I've always been that organic feel because I'm a '90s, '80s baby, you know. So like
Right.
I love that style of wrestling. You know, like I said, obviously I went through Hogan and Sting being two of my favorites of all time. Like they were real life, larger than life characters. Like that's wrestling for me, you know. And having that moment and going out there and just feeling the audience, like that's you can't prepare for it, you know. You just kind of like that's why you try not to think about it too much and you just don't control it. Just let it happen as the moment comes, you know.
So, do you find it easier then when you're in the ring with just doing it on the fly rather than just doing it before the match?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, even with someone I don't know, because like a lot of people show me a lot of respect too, and they always want me to like get my input on stuff. So it's not like we're like they trust me, if that makes sense, you know.
Right.
So it's, like my objective is to get this person. Like I'm in Vegas and we're over here, you know, getting Big Duke Lawrence over. My objective is to get this big guy over. Like if I go in there and try to be Hogan and just pound him and beat him down, that does nothing for him. Like I'm coming in here to do a job. Let's get this guy over. All I need is my moment, my flex, my picture, and we're good to go. You know, that's what wrestling's about. And a lot of people lose that. They lose that aura about it because they're so worried about trying to like the wins and losses when it doesn't matter. When it's the wins and losses don't matter. It's all about the moment in time.
Absolutely.
If that little guy in the front row can go say, "Man, I met Manny Lemons. I seen Manny Lemons that day. He's the coolest person in the world, and I did my job as a pro." You know.
Right.
Do you still get high over those feelings when the kids come up to you and say, "Oh my God, it's Manny Lemons"? You get to take the photo with them and everything of that nature.
Absolutely, bro. That's the greatest thing in the world, man. And that's the thing about it. It's like that's what keeps coming back. You know what I mean? It's the most indescribable high you could ever feel. Like I always tell people, like going back to like I do a lot of work at AEW. Like I wrestled in the Maverick Center here in Utah.
Right.
To have an audience, a full audience of your family and your friends and people that you watched you grow up in this community of wrestling and watching them cheer their asses off for you, bro. That high was undescribable. And I did it again in Albuquerque with them because I'm from Albuquerque and doing a lot of shows in Albuquerque.
Yeah.
And that same aura, that same presence, and that adrenaline, man, brother, you can't describe it, man. It's really the coolest thing in the world. And when that little boy comes up to you and says, "I met Manny Lemons, he's the coolest guy," like you know you did your job, you know.
Absolutely. Now, what does it mean to you to sort of be the flag bearer for Utah wrestling, and do you feel a responsibility to rep it out loud?
I do, because I feel like my responsibility now is not really to be like, I'm not trying to be the Hulk Hogan, John Cena of Utah anymore. You know, my job now is to ensure that it lives on. So how do we do that? We got to build this brand. We got to build this product, and we got to look for new superstars, new wrestlers. You know what I mean? We got to fill the pipeline with that. So I think that's more my role now. I'm blessed to be the standard bearer of it, you know, because like that's not what Gabe Sapolsky like is the one who gave me the quote. What Jerry Lawler was to Memphis wrestling is what Manny Lemons is to Salt Lake City. So like that's a huge honor, especially we all know the history of Jerry Lawler in Memphis. Like that's a huge honor to have, and to have that comparable to, you know, by a reputable name like Sapolsky, you know, like it's a humbling feeling, you know. So like I don't feel as like I am the guy, and I know I am the guy, but I also know like my job now is to make sure it lives on, you know. Like I gotta lead by example.
You're like Carmelo in New York.
Yeah. Because we gotta leave it better than we found it. You know what I mean? So if we're over here, like, if I'm hogging all the opportunities, I'm not trying to get everyone over. Like that's the thing. If we all get over, we all make money. We all can. This thing can be the biggest thing in the world. There's no reason Utah wrestling. And I tell people this all the time. No reason Utah wrestling can't be the hottest freaking territory in the entire country.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we all have to be on that same mentality, that same mission. And the only way we're all going to be on that mission is we all become major attraction, major stars. People come to see us.
Yep.
I don't need to go out there and beat you guys all the time. You know, you guys need to beat me so you guys can become superstars. You guys can become legends. You know what I mean? Like it's a give and take, and that's what's so cool about wrestling.
I'm actually glad you said that because that was my next question for you, right? So the actual legends of Utah. I'm new to that scene just in general. I want to know who is on the Mount Rushmore of Utah wrestling. Like, I know there's you. I think Zoe Stark is from Utah. Like, walk me through who are the four that you're picking for Mount Rushmore?
I mean, that's who I would pick. It'd be Zoe Stark. I can't put myself over, but like, I have to admit that I am the captain. You know what I mean? I am the commander in chief now. So like. I come from a humbling experience. Yeah, what I've done for it and how it's living on now. So yeah, I'd put me on there. Martin Casals, Marty the Moth, Luke Underground. He's from Utah. I'd definitely put him on there. And I always got to put another. I got to put a manager on there. I'd say the MK Bandit because he's a guy. He's a guy who's kind of traveled the circuit, and you know, a lot of people were always hating on him, always shitting on him, and he didn't take that for they're an answer. He went out and got trained by Bubba Ray, you know, at the Bully Ray Academy,
Yeah.
T3 Academy, and like, you know, he made his own mark on that. So I respect that. I think that's what we need. I think that's the standard that it should be, is going out there and leading by example versus just trying to like hog everything in. And
Absolutely.
if I had one more person to throw on there to just take me
Please.
out, I would say Stevie Slick, just because he is a guy
okay.
who created Utah wrestling per se. Like, he did have a facility for me to go in and for me to get trained and learn the basics of wrestling. And then, I mean, that's as far as he could take it because that's all he knew. So it's no harm or foul on him because he didn't know any better. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I can't hate on that. But like, he gave me the opportunity and he gave a lot of people opportunities. So those are the 5 I would say.
Excellent. Now,
It's-
let's do a new segment on the show real quick that Sir Von, I had to thank Vonnie for here. We're going to do it called Pass the Baton. Vonnie, what we got?
Yes.
Take it away.
So my favorite question to always ask, pass the baton, and you kind of did it just now, but I want you to do it for somebody else. I would like for you to spotlight an indie wrestler in this space, no matter where they're from, somebody out there who is doing the darn thing and deserves the accolades and deserves more of a spotlight on them so that they can get more shine.
I have to always go with this one. My boy Tommy Two Scoops from Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Oh, all right.
You know, like I could put my students over all the time, but like, this is a kid who was always like, he was always asking me questions, always blowing me up before I was ever a teacher, before I was ever having my school. You know, whenever I was going out to Albuquerque and wrestling for a DWO at the time, he was always invested in wanting to pursue it. And he's the type of kid where it's like, you kind of like, in wrestling, it's like you could just like say like little bits of like what you need to do. You know, like, hey, obviously everyone knows you need to go to training school. Okay, go
Sure.
to training school and learn the basics. But how do you learn everything else? How do you learn to turn this into a brand and turn it into a product? And seeing what he's
Right.
doing, he really turned himself into a brand and a product. You know, with his Two Scoops and his merchandise and the way he like does the things. Like, I'm really proud of him. You know, and I'm happy that he's, you know, finding his dog and throwing out there and pursue it. But like I told him before, because I kind of helped him get backstage at AEW, just kind of booked as an extra. But I was telling him before, is like, if you get nothing here, just, you know, worry about the next one. You can't take it. You can't take the L's and too personal, you know. And he's just a good, humble soul, and he understands that. And that's who I want to really put over in this segment, if that's the opportunity, you know.
Absolutely. I noted him down to check out his work, and I'm already seeing he has some work done with Rocky Mountain Pro with NWA New Mexico. So he's been moving and maneuvering out there.
Yeah. It's just a matter of not a matter of just timing's everything, not a matter if, matter when. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's the biggest thing about wrestling. If my, like I was just telling my friend this over the weekend, if my job is to sit for 12 years, and that's what God intended, you know, what's the next 12 years look like, you know?
Right.
So
Yeah, absolutely. Now, bringing that all around and sticking with Utah, talk to us about Devotion Championship Wrestling and how did that all get started? How did all that come about? And also, the other thing that you own, which is the Al Snow Wrestling Academy as well. Talk about both of those and how those weaved in together.
Yeah. So I mean, dude, I'm blessed that like say like I have a wrestling school, I have my own promotion, you know, and to say that it's a success, it is success, you know. It's growing. We're coming on year 7, you know. It's funny though, because like when I left UCW Zero in like 2016 is when I started doing a lot of work with Ring of Honor or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of the guys there, they didn't have the mindset of wanting to grow anymore. So like in order to grow, I had to get out of there, if that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was traveling the indie circuit. I haven't wrestled in Utah for a long time. And my Grandma Roma, she's a very big fan of mine. And she was like craving to like see me live because she always come to my shows, always put me over on Facebook, you know, always be supportive. When I was traveling the indie circuit, she was going all the YouTube links, watching my matches and stuff, watching them live on Facebook, you know. So like she was very, very supportive. She's like, well, whenever you're going to wrestle here again? And like at that time, like the invite to go back to UCW wasn't really there because I kind of left, and you know, people get bitter in some sense. You know,
Sure.
That's another rabbit hole. But I really wanted to just wrestle a show, and it was supposed to only be like a one and done show. But when we did the show in December of 2018, that's when I realized that this community of Utah really needed to change. If that makes sense. Like
Sure.
they needed a Swift. They needed something different. So when I ran the first show, it was a success. We had about like 50, 60 people there, I want to say.
Nice.
I was like, all right, well, if we're going to do another show, we kind of want to do it like kind of cool. And that's when I got linked up with Sefa Fatu is training out in Las Vegas, Solo Sokoa. Right now. that's when I went up to him. I was going to Las Vegas, working back and forth with Joe DeFalco out there, and he was we were so new that we didn't have a lot of money, but he kind of had a little bit of steam behind him, where we wanted to show people we were like big time contenders, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we wanted to get the top indie talent around us. So we brought him in, and that show drew like 500-600 people, bro. And that's when we're like,
wow.
And he's actually ended up being our first ever champion. Solo Sikoa was the first ever DCW heavyweight champion.
Wow.
So
that happened. Yeah. So when that happened, everything kind of fell into place. It's like, all right, we want to run this. We're going to do this. We got to do it monthly. We got to start building it. We got to start, getting our product out there. And then the rest just kind of became history, man. Vince Russo used to be one of our head bookers back in the day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's
wow.
Like a lot of people have hate for Russo. I have nothing but love and respect for him. He's never been anything but good to me. You know what I mean? So he used to write our TV for about a year. We did a lot of work when I went into Atlanta. A lot of like Glacier and QT. Cody's School. Like a lot of those guys. Like a lot of what we have now is based on that format, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's really just it's not about who knows you, but it's not about who you know, but who knows you, if that makes sense. So who's going to vouch for you? Who's going to give you guys the opportunities? If these people trust my judgment, trust my commitment, it's all going to grow, and we're kind of all in this together. So it really just became kind of that, man. I mean, I'd want to say like maybe the 4-year anniversary show was kind of like that was like the biggest show we ever ran in Utah. We had DDP on there. We had Eric Bischoff. I was wrestling Josh Alexander for the Heavy Impact World Title.
That's
we had the
awesome.
NWA World Heavyweight Title defend. Like, it was a huge pay-per-view for any March. Like, would have loved to like tune in and see it, And that pay-per-view did really well. That really was kind of like, all right, that's the boom that shows Utah wrestling is on fire. And we've really just been on fire ever since, man. Obviously, we can't like hit home runs every time. It's a give and take,
Right.
Some months are getting better than others, Right now we're like tapped into Evanston, Wyoming, so we're taking over the state of Wyoming. So now we run 2 territories in a sense. You know what I mean?
Nice.
We run the entire state of Utah. We have the Al Snow Wrestling Academy. That's because one of my friends, Roman Roselle, was traveling back and forth during the pandemic when we were doing shows out here. He's the one who got me in contact with Al, and that history became there when me and Al became friends ever since. So that's why our school is named the Al Snow Wrestling Academy, because he wanted to create territories in every single one of these regions. And I always feel like we needed that. Like my name wasn't big at the time, and it's still growing right now. Having a pretty much a Hall of Fame name on my school, that thing's going to take us to a different level. That shows we have credibility, because if this Hall of Famer believes in what I'm doing, then the rest of the community believes in what I'm doing, and that's really just kind of the name value with that, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Can I just say the fact that you're wrestling in these areas like New Mexico, Utah, Wyoming, places that, I'll be honest with you, being from New Jersey, I wouldn't even think about have a big wrestling scene in a lot of these places. That's a testament to, I think, the eye that you have just for this business, for this industry. And that's not something that needs to just be held lightly. I think you really do need to look at yourself and the booking you put into, like, just the amount of effort it takes to be able to say, listen, I can go into West Quahanapan, New Mexico, or some like random ass city, and now I'm drawing 300 people, and Solo Sikoa was my first champion, and now he is the U.S. champion on WWE, and I'm Andy Lemmings, and I'm here on AEW, and it's like, these, I don't know. It's one of those things. You ever stop and just look at yourself and say, like, you know what? I do got that in me.
Yeah, man. Like, I do, but I always like go back to, enjoy the moment, appreciate the moment, celebrate the moment, move on to the next one. You know what I mean? So like, I don't really get too caught into a lot of that.
He's a humble man.
He is.
He's a humble man.
This guy's good. This guy's good.
I worked for TNA for a year during the pandemic, so then that's the time when WWE let everyone go. So like every big name in wrestling kind of came through there. So like I got to work and wrestle with everyone, bro, and like have good conversations and pick something right up. Like Gallows and Anderson are still 2 of my best friends today,
Oh,
and
nice.
Tommy's a really good friend. A lot of these guys are still like really good friends, and it's really just like I'm humble as hell because like I get to live my dream every day, and like the people I grew up watching are now a part of my peers, if that makes sense, But again, like we're not worried about what happened yesterday. We're worried about what's happening today and getting us until tomorrow, So
that's right. Absolutely.
I try not to think about it too much. It's always funny because like I always pop. So like I won my first ever title in wrestling from Zoe Starks.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
so, like,
amazing.
I'll never forget it. I'll never forget, like, because, like, I remember, like, I'm so excited, man. Like, I'm so excited to tell my high school friends, yeah, I just want a belt, wrestling, putting that, that stuff on social media. And then I
Yeah.
have, like, all my high school buddies believe me, bro, you beat a girl for a title, and you're like, no, it's not
Oh
like that,
no,
bro,
come on.
And then,
No.
like, now you're like, bro, that girl's freaking making millions of dollars doing it big time now. So,
Right.
like, that was a good moment for me, So,
Hey, now you like, yo, I didn't beat just a woman. I beat Zoe Stark. Gosh darn it.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, my first ever belt. That's that's the story I tell people, Belt. Like, that's my first ever title, and that's a shoot,
Well, speaking of titles, real quick, I want to touch on this now. Coming off of an almost 260-day reign as AWF champion, your resume is steadily increasing and becoming even more impressive. Is there any champion out there that you'd like to send a warning shot to and let them know you're gunning for their title?
Yeah, there's a Colorado Springs title that I've been trying to win for like the last 7 years.
Ooh.
Ooh, okay.
So, Big Guns, Justin Andrews, or Marlon Bishop, whoever holds the title at the end of this next show, I'm in a drought there. I need a Colorado title, so that's the one.
They're on borrowed time.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm still gunning. Anyone who's in this wrestling business and doesn't have their eyes set on the WWE Heavyweight World Title, is a lie.
Of course,
Like,
of course.
you go for the big dog. I would love to have my match with Cena. Like, that's obviously a dream match.
Of course.
But yeah, put it on Cena. What up, Cena? What up, dog?
What up, Cena? Yo,
Dr.
One last-
Thugonomics means best of the best.
woo! That sounds like a mania event worthy matchup, if you ask me.
I
I'm
agree.
just saying. King of the One-Minute Stand versus the GOAT. I don't know. I think that just comes off the tongue real nice.
Hey, finish
Sell
that
it, Salt Lake
story.
City.
Now, what are some maybe of the challenges of being not only a wrestler at your own promotion, but also the promoter?
The challenge is being the promoter is that no one will share the passion that you share for it. But that goes in
Yeah.
both ways as a worker or promoter. Like, because there's guys who are just promoters and not wrestlers. There's wrestlers who are
Right.
promoters, and obviously, like, a lot of that wrestling promoter gets a lot of nepotism with it. You know what I mean? So it's like trying to, like, I have to really work harder than everyone because there's already a label. Well, he can do what he wants because he owns his own company. It's like, no, I
Right.
do what's best for the business itself. Like, I swear to God, and a lot of people can attest to that. Like, I do what is best for the company. What is going to put the best eyeballs on the product? What is going to make it move? If it's me at this point in time, then it's me at this point in time, if that makes sense,
Sure.
And if someone wants to take that spot, they need to work as hard as me or harder, if that makes
That's
sense.
right.
And that's the thing too, is no one could ever say that I'm not a hard worker. I'm one of the hardest workers in the business. And a lot of people attest to that, man. I've been grinding for 12, 13 years.
That's right.
And the fact that I'm still here, it means that I'm still destined for this, if that makes sense. Like, I'm telling you, I really feel like we're just getting started with this whole Zest the Best, the movement. The popularity of everything has just grown in the last year and a half, and it's like just getting bigger. It's just getting better, And I think with life and maturing too, the maturity of it too, it's like you learn from your mistakes, and like now I'm not the same person I was 2 years ago. I'm a lot bigger and better,
Sure.
so I'm ready to roll, So
I want to ask real quick though, because like walking back a bit to the whole John Cena conversation we had, do you ever still pop for like a lot of these? I guess when you rub shoulders with these stars, especially working at WWE, working at AEW or something, is there anybody out there that's still like, oh my God, I'm working with insert name here? Do you still get that feeling?
not as much as I used to, like when I kind of first got into it. You know what I mean? Just
Right.
because, like, I think for the performer of me, it's like I'm at this level too. So like the mark in me is not really present when I go to work, But like, I mean, like there was a time, like I said, Sting was my favorite of all time. So when I actually met him at AEW, I was a little starstruck, if that makes sense,
Oh yeah.
And like,
Oh yeah.
and, like he like came up to me, he's like, "Hey, which way's catering?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, you're Sting. You're my favorite."
I love you.
I was like,
Right.
"Oh man." So there was kind of that moment, you know what I mean? When I met Ric Flair, it was like, bro, Flair's like the GOAT too, you know what I mean? So like just meeting
Yeah.
Flair, and I was wearing this like cool like lemon kind of suit, and Flair comes up to me and says, "Hey, nice suit, brother." Woo, like that was the coolest thing in the
Nice.
world,
That's gotta be
Like,
the
it was-
highest compliment. The highest
Yeah.
compliment.
100%, coming from the Mr. Suitman himself, So like that was a cool moment, So like, but like I don't know, man. I'm a blessed person, dude. I'm blessed to like just to be around all these people, and like the biggest thing too is for them to teach me, and I've learned from them. You know what I mean? Because we all can learn from everyone. But why not? Like if your objective is to be the star, to be the biggest star in the business, why would I not want to be hanging out with the top stars? You know what I mean? Learning
Right.
from them versus just
Hey.
trying to be a fan and mark out.
I'm gonna let you know now, Manny. You cool as ice lemonade on a summer day. But what I'm gonna say is, if Ric Flair told me that, I'm in the bathroom stall fan, and I'm like, Ric Flair said that to me. Like, I got a nice suit.
Yeah. I was around a lot of people that weekend too, so it's kind of like that, you know. Like
Yeah.
I'm around those people a lot of time. Like that's one of the coolest things about my life. The fact that I always tell myself sometimes, like, man, all your friends are making it. What's going on with you, you know? And I just tell myself it's just timing, you know. It's just not the right time.
Right.
Like I said, if God wanted me to sit for 13 years, He wants me to sit. He's ready to give my blessings when I'm ready to get them, you know.
I hate that question too. Like, what's up with you? Like everybody else around you, made it. What's going on with you? Because the journey to get there is, I think, oh my God, I think Chelsea Green was the person who just tweeted this the other day. The journey itself is the more important piece than the actual promised land you're trying to reach.
Right.
Like, enjoy this. You just said you're in your renaissance right now. Like, enjoy these moments to be able to sit and say, listen, I'm about to go take some belts over here in Colorado. Whoever got it is on borrowed time. It is what it is.
Right.
Yeah. Well, bro, they even like one of the big things for me that like really blew me up too is like just like obviously I'm not under contract or anything, but like as silly as it was in 2023, I was on this. I pulled a Rick Rude and I was on Raw and AEW.
I remember that. I remember
Yeah, I was
that.
on Raw and AEW
Yeah.
the same night, and that thing blew up. Like that was the only time I was ever really trending on Twitter was that night because of that. And someone recognized me as being one of the security guards. You know, as silly as it was, but it was really like a cool moment. I had all these dirt sheet interviews and whatnot. You know. So like, but like if I was tied to one company and tied to somewhere, I want to have these moments because like that's a cool moment that really gave me a little bit of fame to my name. You know, that's what got me verified. A lot of people are like, "Oh, you pay for your blue check mark on Instagram." No, bro, that incident's what got me verified. Instagram wrote me and said your account's been verified now.
Yep.
And I was like, "Oh hell yeah," you know. I said to my dad, I said. This was before everyone could buy the blue check mark. I said to my dad, I was like, "Hey man, look, see, I'm making it. You know, it was a proud moment." So
I'm official, man.
Yeah. So there's moments like that.
Dinner on you now, big guy.
Right.
I know. And
Right.
there's a huge difference between being famous and being rich.
That's a fact. That's a
Message.
fact.
I was trending on Twitter. And I'm broke as hell, you know. So,
I'm trending, but like I don't have no money. I'm not.
My bank account is trending downward.
Right.
Yeah. My car might break down on the way home. We don't know yet. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, you know.
All right. Now this is a question that our Doodly King usually doesn't like because he feels old whenever we ask it. But that might change depending on how old you are and how old this question makes you feel. So, bring it back to your early years. What was your very earliest memory of wrestling?
Well, that was probably the one I mentioned with Sting. Would be that one.
Okay.
The NWO moment. Like that's the one moment that plays clear in my mind. And I know I probably jumped back and forth with that question, but it really is because like I can remember the day. I can remember exactly how I felt on that day at 4 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And that was really the moment that attracted me in because I said once Sting dropped the bat and like he just started clearing house at the NWO, I was just like I was in like awe with them, you know. And Eric Bischoff is like, wait till you tell Hogan, wait till I tell Hollywood. See, I could tell it to you exactly how it is, you know, without even watching it. That's just how it is for me. You know, I haven't watched the clip probably in a few months, you know. So, but like it's one of the coolest moments, and that's what make you believe in wrestling. And like that's when they did their job at that particular time in the night because I became a fan ever since, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, like that's like for me, my earliest memory, only because I can memorize it word for word, is Jericho's debut in the WWF in '99.
Yeah.
I can recite his promo word for word without even watching the video, just because I've watched it so many times growing up.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Like, but that's what it's about, you know. Like, that's what wrestling is. It's about those moments in time, you know. Like, I bet you don't remember what match he wrestled or what wrestling move he did on that night. No, you remember how he made you feel with what he said, you know.
Yeah,
captivated your attention, and that's the thing about wrestlers. Like, our jobs are the minute we come from that curtain, our jobs to captivate the audience and command the attention of it. You know what I mean? Good or bad or whatever the story we're trying to tell.
I'm gonna let y'all know now. My earliest memory, as far as wrestling goes, it's a two-part thing. The first one, I just remember for some reason Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy had to face each other on a Monday Night Raw. I don't remember what actual show it was, but I remember it happening and saying, "This right here, I want to be a part of somehow." But then my earliest actual show memory was WrestleMania 2000. The minute
okay.
Godfather and D'Lo Brown walked down the stage and they had all those women with them, I said, "I'm locked in."
I'm locked into this now. Yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go.
That's a good moment. Yeah, I feel you, bro.
That's dope. All right, you had mentioned it all throughout the show, but let's talk about it real quick. Let's do a little bit more of a deep dive. You know, your time in ROH, your time in Impact, AEW, WWE. What were those experiences like for you getting to perform at some of these major players like that?
I mean, it really is just like, it's really an assurance, like, to look and say, like, hey, look, I'm actually doing it. Because if these companies are seeing my work and my dedication and they're giving me opportunities, these opportunities, like, people can sit there and say, oh, if you were job matches without, yeah, but they don't just give job matches to anyone. You know what I mean? Like, you got to work your tail off. Like, they had to trust you. They have to know who you are. Like, they don't just pick up Joe Blow from the Indies and say, hey, we need you to come get your butt beat by this, you know?
Right.
Like, especially now, like the protocol now to even work backstage with WWE, it's like all the blood work and all the tests we have to do, you know, like, and to stay current on it, like it's a job itself, and a lot of people in wrestling lack that, you know, they lack that dedication to really pursue it and do it. So like getting to be able to perform on that, even if it's like a security guard or whatever, not, it's still a cool feeling because like there are like 2 million people on this show and who watch this show, and like that's my face on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that, you know. Like I remember my first time ever wrestling Ring of Honor was in 2016. I wrestled Dijak, and
oh wow, yeah,
I wrestled Dijak. It was when he was with Prince Nana. He was the ROH heavyweight, ROH TV champion at the time. I think he was with TV champion. Right. But I was just out there jobbing. But like they gave me, you know, Cody always preached it in training. You got to maximize your minutes, and like they gave me moments in the match where it was like maybe 30 seconds to do something. You know what I mean? That was my moment in time. So take advantage of that when I have that time. And when I'm in the moment, the crowd at the end of the day is like cheering for me, you know, like that means they saw something in my performance at that night, at that particular time, because a lot of guys who job, they usually don't get cheers. They're just kind of like, oh, whatever, you know, like boo they boo Dijak. Cause that makes sense. Like they boo the heel versus cheering the other guy, you know? So that's always a cool moment. You know what I mean? Like, to have those opportunities. Like, I mean, I'm blessed to have my time with an Impact and TNA with, you know, I was part of Brian Myers' learning tree, you know, I was there for, you know, I was there for about a year, you know. My favorite time walking into Impact was when I was still kind of transitioning from AEW and Impact. I was doing the Manny Smith gimmick. D'Lo, I met D'Lo at Impact in 2019 in Vegas, and he loved the Manny Lemons gimmick. He gave me an opportunity there, and that's kind of where I've stayed in touch with them, you know. And I went to the first Impact taping. They realized I was in Atlanta at the time because that's when I was training at the Nightmare Factory. That's when the pandemic hit. They were training in Nashville, so it was like a 3-hour drive. So they invited me to they invited me out, gave me a match, but they wanted me to be Manny Lemons, but I didn't realize that I was just dressed up as Manny Smith because that's what I was doing at the time. And then I met Gorilla, and D'Lo's like, he's all, what the fuck is this? I thought I wanted you to come to Impact as Manny Lemons. I'm like, that's a shoot. Like, it's a cool moment. Like, I was like, oh, my bad. Like, you know, like, I was doing this new thing for a while, you know, so like the next taping I ended up coming back as Manny Lemons, and it gave me the opportunity, you know, like, so like always moving, you know what I mean? Always do as you're told. So like I took that as a lesson, like, all right, I need to come back as Manny Lemons. Gave me opportunity, and it gave me name value, you know, so I'm blessed for that.
Hell yeah.
So like in your storied career, right? Can you tell us maybe one or a few of just some of your favorite matches that you've been a part of?
Yeah, my favorite match, my most recent ones are the 2 AEW ones, just because, like I said, those are moments in time where, like, being able to perform in front of an audience, in front of your own hometown, you know, like, and it's really, like, at the same sense, it's kind of a double-edged sword, because, like, a double whammy sword, I want to say, not double-edged, but because, like, I'm helping the community of Utah grow, you know what I mean? Like, when I wrestled QT in the Maverick Center here in 2024 in October, like, QT said something about how Manny Lemons, this is AEW, this is the big times, go back to your indie fed or whatever. The crowd started chanting devotion. They started chanting DCW. So to have an arena chant DCW, like, that's a cool feeling. That means but that's the thing too, is people know that I'm trying to help everyone else involved too. I'm not just in this alone. Like, I'm not self-made, man. Like, we're all in this together, you know? And the bigger I get, the bigger this whole thing gets, if that makes sense, you know? So there's that match, that particular moment, you know, like being in Albuquerque. I wrestled in Albuquerque for 10, 15 years, you know, and like, AEW decided to, you know, hey, Manny's helping us out here. Let's give him a little match too. They gave me another match, and now, bro, like, I'm 2-0 in AEW. Like, that's a
2-0, man.
I'm 2-0 in singles competition, you know, because the last time I wrestled there was Manny Smith, and that's when I wrestled Matt Sydal, and I lost. But like, that's Manny Smith. That's not Manny Lemons. You know what I mean?
Right. There's a difference.
The time before that, I was in a tag match with the T-Bows, me and versus the Private Party of Matt Hardy and I can't remember the partner was at the time. The Private Party, Private Party. Yeah. So like, but I wasn't pinned in that match. My partner was pinned. So technically, I've never been pinned in AEW as Manny Lemons.
Hasn't been beaten.
Never beaten. So I got to keep the streak alive too. So like, just to have those matches and those moments, to have those, like, just to even be able to say that, it's a cool thing to say. Like, I don't need to go on the internet and like brag and boast about it.
No,
so when people ask me, it's like, Say, hey, how many? He's like, when people ask me, like, how many wins do you have? All right, well, I got 2, so I'm higher than you. You know?
That's
got
2
2 more
more
wins
than
than
you.
Yeah, but in a blessed way. I don't know, man. Like, my life's cool. You know, I can sit here and talk wrestling all day and every day. You know, it's like it's just cool to see it and to see the people that like I kind of grew up around in the business and seeing them get their opportunities and get their flowers. It motivates me to know that my time's coming just as soon. You know what I mean?
Right. Sure.
So I'm
All right.
32 right now, bro, and I'm young and I'm ready for my prime. You know, like we haven't seen the best.
You're
yet, so.
in your prime. You have so much time left, dude. You have so much
Yep.
time left.
Yep.
I can definitely see you making the jump to a major promotion with plenty of time. I mean, you got to look at like DDP. Like he started late and he crushed it. So like, there's so
Yep.
much time in your hands.
100%, brother.
Also, the fact that you being 32 and this in shape makes me feel better about myself. Like, you know what? Like, there's hope for me yet.
Yeah, bro. Hey, it just takes one day at a time. You know what I mean?
I gotta start stretching.
You start stretching, right? Start doing something here.
Yeah. DDPY, brother.
Right.
Tell Dallas I sent you.
All right. It is now time for the last question of the day that I usually do, but I'm going to throw this one off to Vani this time as our guest co-host of the evening. So, Vani, if you would please take it away.
Okay.
Take it away.
So, I want to know, what does pro wrestling mean to you? Like, what impact does it have on your life just in full?
I mean, as far as now, pro wrestling's my entire life. If that makes sense. You know what I mean? It like for a very small time when I first got into it, like it was just kind of a part of my life. It was just kind of something I did, but now it just became my life. My entire life revolves around pro wrestling, guys. When I mean that, like I have completely surrendered myself to the industry where I know that this is where I belong. This is my future in some way, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's a really cool it's everything to me, you know. That's what pro wrestling is. Like it's my entire existence and there's nothing more. And people are gonna be like, oh well, it's gonna change with time and whatnot, and maybe it will, you know. Like John Cena said the same thing, and now he's kind of like understanding with time he can't go forever, you know. But
Right.
but like I feel like for now at this particular moment, this particular stage, like this is my everything, and this is why I'm like put to the all gas no brakes, you know what I mean?
All gas, no brakes with it. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? I love that.
That's a great answer. I mean, you really hit the nail on the head throughout this entire interview. That like you're for the people, you're for the wrestlers. You are super humble in who you are, which is amazing to hear. Like you don't take yourself too seriously. Like yes, you're the man. We know that you're the brand. We know that you're the king of the eliminated stand, but you are out there to sort of give back, and that's really cool to see. You don't see that too often. That a lot of wrestlers are willing to give back. Not just take.
Yep. That's what I said. We're all in this together, man.
Also, Zest of the best. I just want to throw that in there. As well,
That's the best, baby.
That's
don't
right.
let my humbleness get you twisted, bro. I'm still the dude. You know what I mean? No, I'm still the dog, man. Like,
I'm still the guy.
I still know what I am. I just know that I will help you. You know,
right?
I will be the type who will reach my hand back. You know, reach one, teach one. You know what I mean?
There you go. That's a good one. Reach one, teach one. I like that. That's a good way of putting it. All right. Well, great interview first half with Manny Lemons. Great to get to know you a little bit more about who you are, your wrestling history, your promotion. But now it is time to get into not one, but a top fives. Vani, remind us, what are we talking about here?
So, Mr. Lemons, Mr. Manuel Lemons himself. Top 5 Pokemon cards and top 5 Yu-Gi-Oh cards. What are we rolling with right now?
Man, that's funny because I just found my collection. I think that's where this question came from.
Yep, I literally just saw that you found your own collection of. Yep.
Bro, I was like, when I found that collection, I was moving back and forth, so like I kind of like put it in my parents' house, and it was one of those things where I thought it was lost forever. You know what I mean? So like,
right.
I was in my garage digging around, and I opened this box, and I said, oh shit, this is all my Yu-Gi-Oh card. Oh man, let me go do this. But bro, like Slice of the Sky Dragon was my top card ever, like the Egyptian god. You know, what's the other one? Winged Dragon of Ra. You know, that's the other one. I have all 5 pieces of Exodia. Obelisk the Tormentor. And I got Trihorn Dragon. I got all the secret rares, bro. I got the first gen too. Like this is from the first collection. It's not even.
Wow.
But The Black Luster Soldier, I think, was probably one of my favorite characters, though. Like, the card itself is cool, so I think that's my favorite one. To
Man,
sit here and say, like, I'm an expert at, like, playing the game, nah, dude, I'm not. I just like collecting, you know what I mean? Like, there's just been my collection my entire life, and, like, the Founding again was pretty cool, you know?
All right, so
Hey,
let's go.
Wait, hold on, man.
what's
Keep
up?
it funky, right? Before we even get into Pokemon, when you found that binder, did you look at it and say, "Yo, my next gear just paid for itself"?
Bro, I did. I had a lot of people wanting to buy it. I just don't want to part
See?
with it. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. You're like,
And it's
this
so
is my
fun.
stuff. Right.
Yeah. And everyone's like, go get the praise, because like a lot of people, like, they remember, like, we all collected this stuff as kids, and now, like, a lot of us
Right.
don't have it anymore, you know. So
Yep.
like when we find it, it's like gold, you know. So yeah.
All right. So we didn't get an order there. So what is your? Let's go. Let's go from 5 to 1. We'll go Yu-Gi-Oh 5 to 1, and then we'll go Pokemon 5 to 1. So let's go Yu-Gi-Oh number 5.
That's the highest, or that's the lowest one. Number
Going
one
from
right?
lowest to highest, 5 to 1.
Okay, my top. So I'd say that one would probably be. Can you count Exodia as like all? Because like there's 5 pieces there, and that's like one card is 1 piece. So like, does that
Vonnie.
just count as one?
I think we count all 5 of them as one.
Okay.
Then let's save that one for probably number 3.
Okay.
But number 3, I'd say Winged Dragon of Ra, the Egyptian god, the yellow one. Obelisk the Tormentor, would be the number 4. Number 3 would be Exodia.
Okay.
Number 2 would be the Black Dark Magician.
Ooh.
The Magician of Black Chaos.
Yes. I don't have that one. That's the one I want. I've been in and out of card shops in Vegas and St. George trying to just see if I can find it. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
because I want to find the original one. I don't want to find like a remake of it. You know, so like just kind of hunting for that one. But then my number 1 would be Slifer the Sky Dragon.
Manny, I just became a lemon head. Oh my god.
That's a sick card, bro.
Holy shucks. Yo, and bro, Manny knows ball. That top 5 is elite.
Yeah, that's the goat. That's the goat lineup.
All
Dark
right.
Magician would come in at like a number 6. You know what I mean? High 6.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
What was number 1 again? I'm sorry.
Slifer the Sky Dragon.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's my favorite card. So
Right.
yeah.
All right. Let's switch gears now. Top 5 Pokemon cards. I'm very curious to see what you got because I remember I used to have like you a binder of like the first generation of cards. I was building it, I had it, and then it was like you're too old, and it was gone. I was like, all right, well that was my collection. It's gone now.
Yeah.
You have it? There you go. Nice.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, okay. So for 5 to 1, I'd have to say Moltres. I like Moltres, like the horse, freaking the fire horse. That was one of my top favorite Pokemon, just because of how cool it was. Moltres. Is it Venusaur? Which one's the last one? The Venusaur.
Venusaur is
the
the
green
last
one.
one.
Venusaur's the last one. Yep.
With the whips and that would be number 4.
It's the OG.
Number 3, I'd say I'm a big fan of Charmander. I know it's kind of like
Charmander.
Charmander and Charmeleon. Like those are about like a close. I'd say I'd give same model. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then I would go with Blastoids number 2, and then number 1.
Nice. All right.
Yeah, I'm a big nerd, guys.
No, it's perfect. You have come to the right place, sir. You have come to the right place.
I got a Snorlax plush sitting right there in the back, so we locked in.
Snorlax is good too. Yeah, Snorlax is good too.
Man, I gotta say, Manny no ball, bro. Like these cards, all the ones I remember watching as I was a kid. Like I remember, bro, stumbling upon Dark Magician Girl changed my life.
Yeah, Toon Girl too. You know what I mean? The Toon World.
Man,
too, you know? They were good.
What a childhood we had.
Yeah, we sure did. We blessed.
Now I have to ask this because I feel like I'm the only person that actually did. Did y'all actually play the Pokemon cards with with your friends growing up? Like I used to actually play the cards growing up with my friends. We would do the whole thing, sit down in the grass.
Nope.
No, so I didn't. But
yeah.
I'm not exempt from the nerdom because I did have. I don't know if y'all remember the dual disc, the thing on the arm.
Right.
The dual disc, yep.
Yes, I did have one of those when I was a kid, and like for all of 2 seconds having it, realizing like, oh, this is freaking awesome. I got this on my arm, and I had that moment of realizing, yo, I will never get a girlfriend.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
Right. This ain't happening. We're not doing this. This isn't gonna happen the way I
Yeah.
want it to.
Feel you on that. Yep.
Were there any runner-ups that you weren't on the list that you want to mention real quick for both sides?
I think
Kelsey
Snorlax.
Guardian
Snorlax.
there.
Yeah, Snorlax is a goat. So like you have to put him on the runner-up. You know, Pikachu's obviously an icon. Mewtwo.
Of course.
You know, the Mew and Mewtwo. I had both those cards. You know, I haven't found those ones yet, so I'm on the hunt for those ones. But I used to have those in this collection. But those were the top cards too. You know, so.
Yeah, Mew and Mewtwo. If you can find them, they were rare. But if you can find them and you had them in your collection, you were a baller. In
Yeah,
school,
they were rare back
you were-
then. So like, imagine now. Yeah.
If you had those,
Manny just with the Yu-Gi-Oh, the Mewtwo card coming out with the chain like he Logan
Right.
Paul.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. We'll just put it right here.
we're right here.
It was
Have
funny
a,
because like, who did it? Was it Logan Paul in his fight with the first edition Charizard? Was it that?
Yes.
Was that with him?
Yes, that was Logan Paul.
So I remember my kid tried to take my Charizard because he wanted to be like Logan Paul, and I said, no. You don't touch this one.
No,
Remember,
that's
this is
off limits.
This is
Off
one of the
limits.
first. It's not first edition, but it's the first. The first series. You know, like it's a rare
Right.
one. So like,
You get it
stay the hell
graded?
away from this. No, not yet. I need to.
Yeah, you gotta get on that. You gotta get on
Yeah.
that for sure.
Yeah, I'm still new to this, dude. I'm still trying to learn it all because it's been so long. You know. Now I have rare shit. I don't know what to do with it. You know.
You're like, I have it, but I don't want
I
to
have
sell it.
now. Yeah, I want to get rid of it. I just like to hang on to it. I just like to show it off. I was gonna do a meme where it said like, "Hey girl," 'cause obviously I'm a single dude, so I said, "Hey girl, you want to come over and see my Yu-Gi-Oh cards?"
You want to see my collection? It's
You wanna
very
see my
cool.
collection? I got both Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh. Which one you
I got
want?
Pokemon, I got Yu-Gi-Oh, I got Magic the Gathering. Take your pick.
The ladies are fawning over him.
Oh, please.
Please.
Show me your cards. Show me your cards, please.
That's Julia.
All right. Well, with that amazing two top fives, I don't know how we can get any better than those two. Love that you have found your collections again. Don't sell them. I wouldn't sell them.
No. Yeah.
That's for you and for you alone. But we're gonna take a short break. When we come back, we will have some upcoming events with the Zest of the Best, Manny Lemons. We'll be right back. All right. If you missed it 2 weeks ago now, episode 112 with Dylan Cross is out now from Royalty Wrestling, one half of the Gatekeepers with Brother. Amazing show. Stay tuned for more announcements of guests upcoming, but we do have a guest that we saw coming up in a few weeks. The returning Big Calyx. We're super excited to have him on the show. That's going to be crazy, amazing. And also, just want to give a quick shout out. There's a few events that we are pushing out there for our friend of the wrestling business, Jeff Cannonball, who we all know and love, has been diagnosed with ALS. We're trying to do any and all means to support him. Check out Labor of Love show, August 10th. You Meet Us, event for Jeff Cannonball. All proceeds go to Jeff. There will be wrestling. There will be bands. There will be raffles. Get your tickets to the show. It's going to be amazing. Also, if you're in Canada, go on. They also have Cannon Brawl, Saturday, October 18th. So if you're up there in Canada, go to Interspecies Wrestling, get your tickets, go see that show. Again, a benefit for Jeff Cannonball. But also, if you're in Jersey, if you're over in me and Vonnie's neck of the woods, September 14th at the New Providence High School, we have Cannonball Fest. This is turning out to be such an amazing show. MJF was announced. Willow Nightingale was announced. All these great wrestlers were announced. Joey Janela's going to be there. It's going to be an amazing show right in our neck of the woods, Vonnie. All proceeds, again, go to Jeff Cannonball and his family. Please, if you can, donate, help out. This is a legend of the wrestling business, not just in the indie scene, but also in the hardcore scene. And yeah, go out there, get your tickets, support Jeff Cannonball. All right, that leaves the floor to you, Manny Lemons. What do you got coming up in your future in terms of wrestling and shows?
So we got Devotion Championship Wrestling. We'll be at our FitCon event this coming Friday and Saturday, August 1st and 2nd. FitCon's a cool fitness expo. You know, I always like doing them because the biggest thing we do it for is try to recruit new students coming up.
Right.
So like Friday we're going to be on from like 2 to 9. I'm doing in-ring shows, in-ring tryouts, and then the next day we'll be all there Saturday from like 10 to 6 when they open. We have that August 1st and 2nd. August 9th, Devotion Championship Wrestling has Heat of the Moment here in Salt Lake City, Utah.
There you
that
go.
coming up. Also Albuquerque, New Mexico, Hey Brother, coming up August the 16th. So be on the lookout for that. And I guess now I can announce here on August 23rd, we're going to do the Manny Lemon's birthday bash at Tussle.
Hey,
Kamikaze's Ogden. Yeah, so those big events coming up. I'm sure in between there, I'll pick up one or two, something. I always like to stay busy. So like, I always search for like double booking and stuff. So, but those are for sure. That's where I've confirmed to be. You will see me there.
Do not miss Manny Lemon's birthday bash, fellas.
That's
Do
right.
not.
It'll be the best birthday of your life.
Seriously.
Y'all
wanna
got a
ex-
lemon cake?
Yeah, always.
Always, brother.
Little lemon candle too, you know.
Right. Do you have a favorite lemon dessert? Just throwing it out there.
It would be lemon cake. I like lemon cake.
Okay.
To sit here and say like that's my absolute go-to, no. Like, but I like it, you know.
Manny really I like apple pie.
Right.
Yeah, apple pie is a go. Apple pie is a go. Cookies and cream, ice cream, mint chocolate chip, bro. I could talk for days, you know.
That's incredible. Well, again, I want to reiterate, as for the show, the most requested guest probably ever on this show, Manny Lemons.
Thanks,
It's been an honor and a pleasure to have you. That means, Johnny, you don't have to ask me ever again. Shout out to you, Johnny, though. But before we go, Johnny has a question. Shout out to you, Johnny. Will you share a beer with me for your birthday, Manny Lemons?
All right, Johnny. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys have a good day.
All right. With that,
Give your dad your keyboard back. Give Jason the keyboard back. Just kidding. Of course, I'd have a beer with Johnny Austin.
Perfect way to end the show.
Who wouldn't have a beer with Johnny Austin?
I will end the show on that note because that's the perfect way to end the show. For the best of the best, the man, the brand, lemonade stand, Manny Lemons. For I Hate Vonnie on that section. For myself, Parmesan. Thank you for listening to the Amazing Podcast. Remember, kindness is free, so be kind to each other. God bless each and every one of you, and we will see you guys next time.
And go wash your ass.
Well, that's it. I really hope you enjoyed it. We had a ball making it. Thank you very much.